only about the beef you had. Nobody cares, Pat, and when you rap, nobody hears, Pat. Let's make it clear that your obsession is kinda weird, Pat. Vlad asked you 21 questions, it was all about Fifth. Nothing about you, how you talk about hits, saying Fifth ain't had one since 2005. You been jive talking since 2006. You drop bars on wheels, and we forgot about it. All those big words is not about shit. Ooh, you did bad, looking like a bitch on Vlad. He ain't asked you nothing about you, only about the beef you had. Nobody cares, Pat, and when you rap, nobody hears, Pat. Let's make it clear that your obsession is kinda weird, Pat. Remy said you lying about ghostwriting. Oh, you ain't say that? Now this nigga ghost lying. 20 years, no buzz, boy, the hope's dying. Talking about marching with Sharpton, you hear those sirens. That boy Sharpton's informing. You know that Pap still on civil rights, don't even know math, cause it don't add up, them numbers looking low, Pap. Lost in the 90s, he grimy, rapping is so trash. Goddamn, you ain't Griselda, not Rockefeller, not a Rough Rider, nobody can help you. You ain't D-Block, not a top seller, not G-Unit, Dipset, stop fella. You did bad, looking like a bitch on Vlad. He ain't asked you nothing about you, only about the beef you had. Nobody cares, Pat, and when you rap, nobody hears, Pat. Let's make it clear that your obsession is kinda weird, Pat. Sucker for love, whack love. That boy a sucker for love, that whack love. Boy, you a sucker for love, that's whack love. Pap, you a sucker for love. It's the unit.
Nigga, wait for what? The wait is up. Look, it's time. So if you see me with it, bitch, it's mine. When these other bitches rap, it's always just rhymes. When I rap, bitch, it's always 10 dimes. Stop playing with me. I got these niggas in the jail really staying with me. I got these niggas in the streets really slaying with me. I got these niggas in the south really hanging with me. I got these niggas in the gangs really banging with me. And what you looking at my shoes for? I swear to God, I know I'm on these bitches' mood boards. I'm in the city pretty, driving something 2-door. Nice fit in the feet, giving shoe porn. Listen, if it's tension, how I never get at it, but I always get mentioned. Like how I'm this big hoe, but I never get fucked. See, I might get subbed, but I never get touched. Might blow a little smoke, but it never gets ducked. Got this big ass chain and it never gets tucked. Play hater? Not at all. I don't play those games. You got beef with Ren. Bitch, nigga, say my name. Is you shy?
We're on the block right now. Yeah. That's some butter. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's what's up.
That's why I'll be the first to CJ push your wrist up.
I know you're tired of being lonely.
My ex might be the least income making person that I've ever been with. Ever.
Hey, brought y'all home some dinner from work.
Calvin, you can't keep feeding me and your baby hamburgers and french fries every goddamn night.
Well, what the hell do you expect me to do?
Nigga, get a real job.
Bitch, McDonald's is giving me an opportunity to serve my community and feel responsible for the welfare of my own environment.
Don't give me that trifling ass bullshit.
I'm under a lot of pressure. Hey, Hey, whose gloves are these? Huh? Who you fucking, OJ? What?
Don't nobody fall in love faster than somebody with nowhere to stay. The fuck?
Hello again. Welcome back to another one. While 50 Cent keeps trolling and stacking wins at the same time, things just got even crazier. Deadline recently reported that a 50 Cent documentary series is officially headed to Hulu, and this comes right after Fifth teased social media by saying Hulu was paying $75 million for a new documentary about him after a bidding war with Netflix and Apple. At first, because of the April 1st timing, a lot of people thought it was just an April Fool's joke, right? But not so fast. It turns out Deadline says the Disney-owned streamer really did pick up a new 3-part documentary series about Curtis Jackson, covering his rise from Queens, surviving 9 shots, and turning into one of the biggest rap stars in the world with more than 30 million records sold. And let's be real, Deadline might be playing with those numbers a little, because in the United States alone, 50 has moved more than 44 million certified singles, and worldwide, he is pushing close to 60 million albums sold. Still, some of 50's critics are going wild, saying Hulu never posted anything and that he is just capping.
This salt cost 30 times the price of table salt. It is mined by hand from the tears of the salty.
But with all the wild stuff Papoose has been saying about him lately, people are even joking that a secret burner account might be behind all this drama. And that takes us straight to the main topic today.
Why would he diss Eminem though?
Well, if you listen to the line before that, I pointed out how he disrespected all his friends, bro. I went down the line. He goes at it with everybody who he was friends with, he went at. But out of all of those friends, the only one you never disrespected was M. So that's why.
I mean, I've never heard him disrespect Dr. Dre.
He disrespect. See, I don't like to get into this, man, because, you know what I'm saying?
I can do some shuffling too. Look out, man, what you gonna do? Look out, boys, it's coming through. Yeah, man, yeah, man.
I've never heard him disrespect Dr. Dre.
He disrespect. See, I don't like to get into this, man, because, you know what I'm saying, some of these individuals I'm cool with, you know what I'm saying, I consider myself cool with, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. I don't even need to get into some of that, but I think you see for yourself what this dude does. Young Buck is signed to him, he ends up in beef with Young Buck. Game is signed to him, ends up beefing with Game, or whatever they deal was. I don't want to speak on Game situation, I don't know the details, but I know they was working together. He ends up going at it with Game. Once again, of course, who helped him get where he at, and doesn't even get credit for it, which is weird as fuck to me, Lloyd Banks. He disrespects Banks for a living, on the regular, whenever you feel like it, he disrespects Banks. These are your day ones. You talking about Dr. Dre, I'm giving you Banks, I'm giving you Buck, I'm giving you numerous individuals, Game. Keep going, by the way, I'm just gonna stop here, because it's a waste of time. He does television shows with people, he end up disrespecting them. You disrespect all these people, but the one person you never disrespected, there you go.
Papoose is still out here sounding salty over the fact that 50 Cent hasn't dissed Eminem yet.
Well, you could also say that Eminem did the most for him than anyone in his life.
Oh, so that's what it's about? It's about who do the most for you? That's how you determine your respect?
I mean, I think that that's part of it. I think you can't just ignore that part.
Nah, I don't judge respect on what you do for me. I'm not one of those type of people. I don't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
real?
Nah, I don't.
Okay, so you mean to tell me?
It's a little opportunistic.
Okay, so you mean to tell me that someone doesn't give you the opportunity and the platform and $1 million when you don't have it and catapults your career into where you are today, that should not be a basis of respect?
But so that means he deserves more respect than your day one, Lloyd Banks? He deserves more respect than a guy like that?
Well, look,
just because
I think when it comes down to those situations, and that's really their relationship, I think it's very hard, and you've experienced this yourself, to break an artist and to have a successful record label is one of the hardest businesses in the world to be in. I've said this publicly, and I bet you would agree with me, that it is a better business decision to buy scratch-off lottery tickets than to try to break a new artist. Am I right?
Well, you got to listen to what you're saying now and pay attention, because you know you're talking about lottery, which is based on luck, right?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying
I just want to point that out, though.
And you know that type of conversation where you bring up an example just to explain your point, but instead of getting it, the other person locks onto that one detail and starts a whole new argument off it. Yeah, that's exactly what's happening here, and it's getting messy fast. Before we even get into more of DJ Vlad basically schooling Papoose, this whole narrative that 50 Cent only targets black figures or only makes certain types of documentaries is already falling apart. Just hours ago, 50 posted about the Gilgo Beach serial killing situation, saying the suspect was expected to plead guilty, and he added, "This is the wildest story I've worked on. You gotta see it. Must see TV," while promoting Gilgo Beach House of Secrets on Peacock. And here's where it gets interesting. While critics keep trying to say he only focuses on people like Diddy, that narrative doesn't hold up at all because the Gilgo Beach documentary actually dropped months before any Diddy-related content. This project was produced by G-Unit Film and Television and executive produced by 50 himself, which shows he's covering all kinds of stories, not just the ones people try to box him into. And users wasted no time calling out the critics right after 50 Cent posted that. People were like, "But you don't do documentaries on white people," trying to push that same tired narrative. Then others jumped in saying, "This doc has been out for years. 50 only focuses on black stories." But that argument started falling apart real quick.
Finish him.
90% of the people who try to break a new artist end up losing all the money on that artist.
It happens a lot of time. I wouldn't say 90, but I would say very close.
I think what 50 did at the start of the first few albums in terms of G-Unit and everything else like that, by putting them in position, hopping on a lot of their songs. I remember, he even talked about this, and I agree. His first album was on fire, right? It went diamond. But instead of putting out a second album, he put out the G-Unit album. And I think he got behind a lot of these guys, and he got on a lot of their big songs. Tony Yayo's So Seductive, his biggest song, that's 50 on the hook, right? That's 50 all over the song. Game's first album, 50 originally was on half the songs. They had to actually take out some of his, because he was on so many songs with Game that they didn't want it to look like a collab album. But 50 really contributed to a lot of these dudes' success.
Because here's the truth, that Gilgo Beach project dropped back in 2020, a full 5 years before any Diddy documentary talk even hit the spotlight. So the point still stands, and this is just another clear example that completely shuts down that whole narrative about what 50 chooses to cover. At the same time, the fact that Papoose really thinks he's making sense by calling out 50 for not dissing Eminem has a lot of fans confused. Like seriously, what reason would 50 even have to go at him? That's a real question. And even Papoose couldn't answer it when DJ Vlad brought up Dr. Dre and the bigger picture behind those relationships. And let's not forget, names like Lloyd Banks, Tony Yayo, and Young Buck never came close to doing what 50 did for them early on. 50 really gave up his own spotlight to push their careers, dropping major records and building them up, even when some of those moves later came back to hurt the quality of his own albums after dealing with situations involving people like The Game. And going back to that same question, the reactions have been all over the place. Some people are saying 50 is throwing subtle shots because Eminem is white, while others are claiming he should diss him, and that it's weird he hasn't gone at his so-called mentor. Some even went as far as calling 50 Cent scared for not saying certain things out loud and trying to turn this into something deeper than it really is. At the same time, Papoose keeps pushing this narrative harder and harder, and it's starting to feel like pure desperation. Because again, what real reason is there for 50 to go at Eminem? That question still hasn't been answered in any serious way, and fans are definitely noticing the gap. Meanwhile, Dr. Umar Johnson is stepping into the conversation from a whole different angle.
I just think people are jealous of Jay-Z and Beyonce because they've been winning for so long. Don't get me wrong. Jay-Z needs to start thinking about what legacy he wants to leave within the black community beyond music. For him to be the richest musician in the world, I believe, black or white, he needs to leave a legacy. So whether he's gonna open a college, a school, a bank, a hospital, a franchise of supermarkets, a distribution network, some manufacturing plants to give us jobs and provide us with the resources we need, I don't know how Jay is going to handle this. But he's getting older, although still a young man. He ain't going nowhere no time soon. But if he leaves this earth having not done anything for black people except pay for some activists to get out of jail and pay for a couple documentaries to be made about the victims of police violence, that's not going to be enough. As a billionaire, you can't just pay for a few Black Lives Matter activists to get out of jail and pay for a couple of documentaries about unalived American Africans who were taken out by the police. That's not enough for a billionaire.
Calling out hip-hop's wealthy figures and putting a spotlight on names like Jay-Z. And when it comes to building schools and giving back, it raises an interesting point because people are now trying to remember exactly when certain public figures actually followed through on those big promises.
But he's not alone, Art. Tyler Perry has to think about that legacy. Oprah has to think about that legacy. Rihanna, Kanye, Tiger Woods, now Dr. Dre. And given the role Dr. Dre played in Snoop, and I love them both, they my brothers, but given the role they played in helping that Bill Clinton crime bill get passed with the Chronic and Doggy Style album coming out right around the time that the crime bill floating through Congress, they owe some reparations anyway. I think all rappers owe reparations to the black community. All black rappers, successful rappers, multi-platinum, multi-million-dollar earning rappers owe reparations to the black community. Internal reparations because of the role they played to reduce the black excellence that our ancestors were so dedicated to. The drinking, the smoking, the sex, the violence, the promotion of conspicuous consumption, a promotion of mass incarceration. Gangsta rap is the soundtrack for mass incarceration. Gangsta rap is the soundtrack for mass incarceration. It was yesterday, it is today, and it will be tomorrow. And the gangsta rappers need to be held accountable. I think the black church needs to pay reparations for all the money they've taken and have given us nothing. I think black actors owe reparations. I think the black fraternities and sororities owe reparations for all the success that they've enjoyed, but not really have done much, substantially speaking, for the black community. To be honest with you, we all owe ourselves reparations. And that's why I'm a bigger fan of internal reparations, Art, than I am external reparations. We can do far more for ourselves together than the white man could ever do for us from the outside.
And this is where things start getting even more uncomfortable. Dr. Umar Johnson didn't just throw random shots. He straight up questioned what these major figures have really built with all that power and money. He's basically saying it's not enough to just talk big or flex success. People want to see real results, especially when it comes to things like schools and community impact. And when names like Jay-Z get brought into that conversation, you already know it's going to spark reactions. Fans started debating heavy, asking what actually got done versus what was promised, and that opened a whole new lane of criticism that goes way beyond rap beef. At the same time, all of this circles right back to 50 Cent, because while people are busy arguing over who he should diss, he's out here building content, making moves, and keeping his name in every conversation without even needing to drop a single diss. Maybe some of you remember that same activist who's been talking about building a school for over a decade now. From what people are saying, donations have been collected for years, but there's still no finished school in sight, and that's where the questions start getting louder. But let's stay on topic, because while stories like that keep popping up, some people are starting to believe this whole battle against billionaires is already lost before it even begins. The argument is simple. A lot of these billionaires don't really care about legacy the way people think they should, and that's what keeps the debate going strong. At the same time, you don't have to wait until you're a billionaire to make a difference in your community. But let's be real, with more power definitely comes more responsibility, and that's something a lot of people agree on. Now I want to hear from you. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's get this conversation going. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and tap in for more because it's always going down here.